Hey everyone, welcome to my home and welcome to my channel, A Ginger Can. My name is Brian and today a ginger can make kind of a staple in this house. It's originally was a sausage and black bean skillet kind of dish, but I've made it with sausage or ground beef like we're going to do today, or even chorizo. And I use black beans and pinto beans interchangeably. The purists are going to be upset, but it's all about texture for me. So like I said, we're going to use ground beef today. This is canned ground beef, so it's already mostly cooked. It's not going to take long at all. These are the canned beans from a previous video, where I had two little helpers with me. I'm going to use up the rest of my onion that's been sitting in my fridge for way too long. Since I am using ground beef instead of sausage, I'm going to add some garlic. And normally it would be a bell pepper, but I don't have any bell peppers. So I'm going to throw some cherry tomatoes in because that's what I have in my fridge. Some tomato paste to help with the flavor of the ground beef, because again, it's not sausage, so it doesn't have all those additional spices in it. So I'm going to add some tomato paste, which has also been sitting in my fridge, and the remnants of some spinach just to use it up. And for spices, we're going to use some cinnamon, garlic powder, cumin, and oregano. So I'm going to start with the onion, because like I said, the ground beef and beans are pretty much already cooked. I just need to soften up the onion, throw the garlic in while it's cooking with some olive oil, and then I'll throw in the rest of the vegetables, and then it's just really into the pot. So let me get this onion chopped. Alright, onion's chopped. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of olive oil to the pan, 2 or 3. Get that going on medium heat, and then I'm going to add the onions. So I'm going to take 5 or 6 cloves of garlic, and I'm going to use the garlic press on them once the onions start getting a little soft. Because again, I don't want to overcook the garlic. Then we'll chop up some of the tomatoes, we'll chop up the little bit of spinach, and then we're done with the prep work. We're all back at the stove. So let me get this prepped. I'll get everything on the cutting board, and then we'll go from there. Okay, I have everything prepped. I have 7 cloves of garlic because they're small. I have the equivalent of 1 tomato-ish of cherry tomatoes, which are just as annoying to chop. And then maybe a 1/4 cup of spinach. So let's get everything moved around to the stove with the camera, because it's going to go pretty fast from here. Like I said, these are already cooked for the most part, so I don't need to worry about them too much. And then it's just adding everything else. So let me get everything flipped around and I'll be right back. Alright, so I have the onions cooking down a little bit. I'm going to add some salt real fast, because then again, this is ground beef and not sausage. If you have sausage, you probably don't need the extra salt. And now I'm just going to press the garlic in. Alright, we'll give this a quick stir. Alright, now I'm going to add the tomato paste. I'm going to add probably, 2 tablespoons. That'll work, roughly. And we'll add that now so it gets nice and smoky and heat it up a little bit. And we'll mix that in with the onions. Alright, tomato paste is added. I'm not going to add the fresh vegetables just yet. I will add the meat, because it is mostly cooked. So we're just going to cook it through. We're going to get that tomato paste in there, and the garlic and the onion. So we're just going to brown the meat real fast. It's not going to take long because it's mostly cooked in the canning process. Plus, I got most of the pink out before I canned it. I can have a link to that video here. Get this mixed in with the tomatoes and the onion and the garlic. We'll get some of the fat out and into the pot. That'll help. And so what we're going to do now is I'm going to rinse and drain my beans. Even though I know I canned these beans, there is no salt added. I'm still going to rinse them anyway, and then we'll get those added. I may save some of the juice to add depending on how this looks, but for now I'm just going to rinse and drain at least 2 of the jars, probably the black beans, save the pinto bean juice. And when you're opening your lids, give it a good smell and start to look. I know I just canned these, so they should not have possibly gone bad this fast. But if it's been sitting on a shelf for 6 to 8, 10 months, definitely give it a once over before you start using it. I added both jars of black beans. So let me get the pinto beans in and we'll go from there. I am going to add some pinto bean juice. I'll add some more. Just threw the pinto beans in. I did add maybe a tablespoon of the pinto bean juice. So this is coming together real fast because everything was canned. So we're going to start adding the spices. Need about a teaspoon of oregano. And since I'm not using sausage, a little over is okay. Need about a half teaspoon. It'd be a quarter teaspoon if you were using sausage, but since I'm not, I'm using about a teaspoon, I guess, of cumin. And get some garlic powder going. Again, you want to aim for about a quarter to a half teaspoon, unless more dumps out in your hand. And then cinnamon, about the same, quarter to a half. And now I'm going to add the vegetables. If you used bell peppers, you would want to cook that with the onions, just to get it softened and reduced down a little bit. Okay, we'll get everything mixed in, get it on low heat, and we'll let it marinate for a little bit, come together, and then it's off to plating. So let's let this sit for a little bit. I'll clean up some here, get the camera flipped around, and we'll plate. So I'll see you in a couple minutes. Alright, I just got it off the stove. While it was there, I tasted it. It needed a little bit more salt, so definitely add salt and pepper to your taste. Now normally I serve this to my family with a fresh bowl of rice, and all you do is you glop it on. Now for garnish, this is like any Tex-Mex, Southwestern kind of cuisine. You can add sour cream. I have some cheddar cheese, which is always good, especially for the boys. The boys love the cheese. This is my last jar of homemade salsa. I made this last year when everything started getting locked down and closed, because I just didn't know if we were going to be able to have salsa. I made 6 jars and this is the last one. And there we have it. Let's give it a taste test. Like I said, this is pretty much a staple in my house. I make this a lot. And it's very easy to modify to whatever you happen to have in the refrigerator. Another way you can serve this is with a warm tortilla. Slap down some cheese so the cheese starts to melt. And spoon this in. And then some salt. You have to have salsa, especially if it's homemade. And then you just wrap it up. This is the way I normally eat it, but I give it to my family with over rice because it's just easier for the boys. So thank you for watching and sticking around with me. This has been a Ginger Can. Again, my name is Brian. This is a very quick and easy meal. It hides vegetables well, so if you have picky eaters, beans are vegetables. It's all good, and there's 3 cans in here. Please give me that thumbs up on your way out. Every like counts. Comment down below, especially if you're even mildly interested in my salsa recipe, because it is pretty darn tasty. And it does can well. And share this with your friends. Just get the word out. That'd help me out a lot. Thank you so much. I'll catch you in the next video.